Well, welcome back guys to a Let's Fly VFR tuning the system part 2, since it managed to crash on me the first time and I left you all hanging. But we're back, and tell me what you think. Does it look nice or not? It's not looking too bad. There's a little bit of jagginess, very fine on the outside, but it's overall looking pretty nice, isn't it? You can see the glass is beautiful and clear. You can see the reflections in it. Let's take the camera and zoom up, and we'll have a look around the airport. It's also looking very nice now. Just to let you know, I did make one change from where we were previously. I didn't move the sliders anywhere. Let me just come in here. But you will notice here, I've now pushed it up to 4K. So this system is now running the Nvidia DSR in 4K, which I think is just awesome. I really think it's a great bit of technology. So if you haven't played with it and you do have an Nvidia card that does have it, then I do highly recommend you giving it a try, because the differences are pretty great. So here we are in the 4K side of things. Okay, we're in 4K. So if we go back up, we don't have to do anything special to change this. We can just come up here and we can change our side. We can go back to, or let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back here and go done. And look what it looks like now. See the clarity, it's not quite as clean. This is not as nice and crisp as it was. If we go outside and have a bit of a look around, you can see the jaggies are a lot more prevalent now. Around the wing you can see them. They stand out a lot more. And look, we're getting 24, 25 FPS as I am. Hey, welcome back guys, if you come back from my last stream. We've had a reset, and we're back running. Just having a look at the difference between the settings that we had at the end of the last section before it crashed on me, and what the difference is between DSR from Nvidia and non-DSR look like. Because it is very much my preference. I love it. I think it's just great. So again, we can go back in here. You can see the settings that I have available. They're all up here. And I'm not using Anti Ailsing. And let's go back and we'll plug it back into 4K again. And that's all good. It's all done. And then you look at the quality of that picture. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful. And you can't see the lines around the edges. There is a hint when you're moving of jaggies there a little, and I'm seeing it's about 20 FPS. If we go back inside, we're seeing 25, 24 FPS, which is perfect. And for me, that's where I think this should stay, and that's where it's gonna stay for the moment. So we can look around. You can see it's smooth. It's no problem at all. I'm going to test Fate and just bring up the GPU Z again, because it crashed last time I did that. Yep. Let's just have a look. We won't ask it to do too much. But if we look at the sensors here, we'll look how much we've got. Oh, okay. With the 4K, we're now running 3.5 gigabytes out of my 4K. That's perfect. I like to see 400 or 500 megabyte remaining as a bit of a buffer. You know, if you were to fly online, you might need a little bit more The GPU load's good and high. It's at 87%, which I think is good. If it gets more towards 100, that's fine, but at the moment that's doing pretty well. It's crying because it's not getting enough consistent power, but the 1050 Ti is only drawing it out of the slot. So it's overclocked a little bit, but it's not overclocked too much. So what do you reckon? Should we go for a fly? We go and do a circuit and just see how smooth it is, and with the 4K we'll see what it looks like in the air as well, and you can see the scenery in the air as well. So this is again, if you weren't with me previously, this is zoom level 19. This airport I have built myself. There was just about nothing here. All the buildings that you see around the airport also are my own additions to this airport. These are big shopping centres actually down here, and what else is around here? There's quite a bit. It's quite of an industrial area across the road. Just down the end here, this little club here, you can actually get scenic flights or jet warbird flights from there. I'll try and keep myself straight. But you can see it's pretty smooth. Amazing the work Laminar have done over the term of this product, this X-Plane 11, because when it first came out at 22, 25 FPS, it would have been pretty much unflyable, really. It just wasn't good enough. But with the advent of all the work they've done for, just stop, have a quick look, make sure no one's coming. Don't break your habits, whether it's in the sim or whether it's for real. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's move on out. Rudders are working, that's good. Trim's set, power's good, engine's good. Altimeter is about right for a quick flash around the circuit. Okay, we'll line ourselves up. The helicopters and things you see flying around are also additions that I've put there. There's some really good libraries out there if you ever want to make your own airports, guys. I do have some tutorials on when I've done that, so you're more than welcome to go and have a little look and check those out and make your own. It's a lot of fun. 55 knots, 60 knots, just touching back, and we're off into the wild blue yonder already. Nice and easy, and that's still very smooth. And I'll probably say it to ad nauseum, but 4K, guys, or a simulated 4K anyway, but it's very smooth. And I'll let this climb out. Now this will have an impact if I add clouds to it, so you have to remember that clouds will probably knock 5-8 FPS off the top of this, so I would probably need to back stuff off if I had a little bit of cloud around. But that's okay, I'm happy to tune that. I don't often fly with too much cloud. You can get a little bit. During the winter in Adelaide is generally pretty good. Let's have a little look left, all clear. And that's all industrial area, and that looks pretty realistic considering it is only photo scenery. And we're at, what? We're coming up to 1,000 feet. So let's do a left turn. And we'll go around, and I'll just trim this to not go climbing too much, and then we'll turn left here, and then we're going to take a left turn down Bridge Road, which is this road over here. This is what we always follow when we do it. I did a little bit of real world flying here before I went off, and then went up to Gawler and did the light sport aircraft flying that I've done, and mainly because it's about half the price. So if you happen to live in Oz and you fancy doing some real world flying, have a look around and see if there's any light sport places are nearby you, and just have a look. I'm very fortunate because our club it's a club. It's very much volunteer. All our instructors are volunteer instructors, so you don't have to pay for them. They just love to go flying, and they love to share their knowledge. So that's why it is particularly cheap. I think it's probably $120 or $130 Australian an hour to go flying, whereas flying a Cessna like this from one of the places down here at Parafield would probably cost you, I'm having a guess, probably $220 to $250. When I flew the Diamonds, they were $220 or so an hour. So half, and you don't have to do the hours. You're looking at, I think the minimum is about 20 hours to get your license in light sport. But you know, you budget for a bit more because most people, not many people actually do it, you know, right smack on the 20 hours. It depends on your experience. Sometimes it takes a little longer, which is fine. Okay, so let's look left. My old workplace is just down here. Hello to the guys down there. And we'll do a left turn. Well, I'm not doing the radio calls and stuff today, but we'll just be careful of our descent rate. We'll just trim it up. We'll get back into the white zone and just check our orientation. It's not looking too bad. Remember, pitch for speed and power is descent rate, guys. There's two versions of that. You can reverse it if you like, but I feel most comfortable with this version of it. And let's have a look. I'll try not to move that too quick, guys. We'll get you seasick or something in the sim. So let's have a buzz around here. And we haven't got any flaps down yet. We're at 80 knots, which is fine. We're coming onto runway. What's this one? 23, I think it is, this way. Or was it 21? 21. As we come round. Okay. Let's practice a flapless landing, see how that goes. Alright, bring the power back. It's interesting flying here. You have to be very accurate because this left runway is always single engine and we do left circuits when we're heading in this direction, and the runway on the right is always twins or multi-engine and they do right circuits. They go the other way. So when you take off and you land, you have to be careful because there might be someone just a matter of a couple of 100 feet off to your right or to your left. Let's do that. Let's change our view from the runway to the far end and just hold that nose up. We're flying a little bit long today, but I did bring in a bit of extra speed. And looking to touch down. There we go, a little kiss on the ground. Nice work, not too bad. A 7 out of 10, I reckon. What do you reckon? 7 out of 10? We didn't crash, so that's good. And we're just rolling out. The new ground handling updates that they've given us with, I think even with Beta 1, is really, really good. It's you can push it around a little bit on the rudders, and you're not getting the squeaking that we're used to. Whoop. Yeah, I thought I lost my rudders there for a second. My CH Pros tend to drop out. I think it's my system. It just decides they're not working or it doesn't want them and it turns them off. We'll do a turnaround. We might do another circuit. We'll go the other way just for a bit of fun and then we'll probably call it quits. So again, if you've just joined us, I will just turn around and I'll show you where we are as far as settings, because what I've been doing this evening is resetting my system and just retuning it. It's something you can do now and again. I think it's worth doing, and especially with betas, because you don't know what they're going to give you. They may give, they may take away. When I got Beta 1, I actually lost about 10 FPS because I had very similar settings to this and I was running probably 30 most of the time because I gave myself a buffer for a little cloud. Okay, we're all trimmed up. My trim's working? Yeah. I haven't got my my flaps dialed back into my joystick yet, so that's okay. Alright, let's go again. So we're running, this is actually runway 3, I think. So let's power him up and we'll just go for a right hand circuit. There's no wind or anything, it's nice and easy. A little bit of left rudder there, just like to just dive across, up and into full power, into the white, 50 knots, 55, 50, 60 knots, just a touch back on the stick, and we'll just let him fly away. We'll set ourselves up at about that sort of speed. Now you want to be climbing at about 75, 76 knots when you climb out. That's the best climb rate for this particular model Cessna. Everything's done. If you don't know, guys, it's all done by speeds. You do it by speeds. You take very little notice of this thing here. Everybody gets very focused on it. There isn't really the need for you to get focused on the horizon when you've got a very big bun just out there. So if you're flying VFR, you get used to sight pictures, and that's your, you can see where we are here, the horizon at, ooh, there we are, just get the speed a little bit better, is just sitting along that cowling line. So you don't even need to look inside. You put it at full power and you pull it up with just you, in this case, in the plane, and you just look for that sight picture, that horizon line going right across that line there. Okay, so we climbed way too high because I've been dribbling away to you guys. And let's look right, and then we'll turn right, nice and gentle, not too much. Back the power off a bit, because we want to descend a little bit since we've climbed out. But I hope, you know, the scenery looks really nice with the zoom levels. And if you haven't got ortho scenery for your sim, highly recommend that you maybe you make some. It is really simple. And I highly recommend you just zoom level 16 is good, and then go back and do the custom zoom levels on your airports and just surrounding. You can do zoom level 19 on the airport, like the airport boundary, or just around the airport boundary and within, and then you can step it out a little bit further, say another kilometre, and do zoom level 17 or 18 or something like that. Just step it back, so if you're flying in, the quality of the texture as you come in remains pretty constant, even though you're higher and then you're moving down. It looks great. See all the trees and bits and pieces down there? That's quite a hill down there. So let's we'll put the power back a little bit, and if you've got any questions at all, guys, please fire away. Happy to answer any questions you might have. I've been doing most of my most recent flights with the Cessna and out of these airports, so there's some continuity. But there are a whole range of new airports as well we can go visit. There's a few around Sydney which I want to go visit as well. So we'll look at some of those, because there's so many, even in Australia, new airports that have been released by Lamina. Some of them built by Lamina, some built by great people out there, developers that like to just produce airports, and if they're not good quality they don't get in. So they're all really good quality. Let's get ourselves descending a little bit, and then we'll let it roll out, and then we'll taxi back into to the airport, taxi it into the hangar again, and then we'll probably call it quits then. Been a pretty good day. What's today? Tuesday already. Okay, it's coming up to about that 45-degree point. That's the right point to turn. We would clear around the circuit, have a bit of a duck around and have a look. You'll rotate around, gentle turns. You don't want to be turning too tight. A little bit of back trim. And if I can get it about 70, 75 knots, I'm pretty happy with that as we descend down. Keep it comfortable. Normal training area for the GA area is just out here, guys. We fly out over to where the water is, and then you do a right turn and fly up into the training area when you're flying, doing the GA stuff. You need to get a little bit off there. Might grab a bit of flap this time, and we might need a little bit of a forward slip as well. Still very high. Let's go around. Slips are really great fun. They are great fun in a real aeroplane, guys. They're just enormous fun. You do have to be a little careful, but nice. I happen to like doing them when I'm turning right for some reason more than turning left. I don't know what it is, but doing a right circuit around 031 up at Gawler is a lot of fun doing it. The descent, it allows you to drop really quickly if you need to do it. It doesn't look like we need to. We are a little high. Doing it, you just you push in right rudder in this case, and you push in left stick. What it does is cause, you can see the VSI just dropping away there. You can just do it for a moment if you're a little bit high, and then you can just back off on the rudders. You can see the aircraft centers up again, and you just neutralize the joystick or the yoke. Okay, we're lined up, not too steady. Okay, concentrating on the far end of the runway, and down we go. We didn't do that so well. That's about a 6 out of 6 out of 10, I think, that one. We'll roll out down the centre. We'll put the flaps away. And we'll cruise on in. And I'm pretty happy we're back. We're looking at 2021 FPS, and you'd normally consider that to be a bit crappy. But it's certainly nice and smooth. I certainly can't complain about the smoothness of the whole thing, so we'll taxi this one in. So thanks for coming along for the ride, guys. Apologies if you got left in the dark when the system crashed on the first version of this in the setup. But if you haven't, if you didn't get a chance to see that, go back and watch that one. You'll see the actual setup process. And this is very much just the finalising of it all. Just quick look left, and we'll taxi in over here. Get off the runway. Now, if you're new here and you like what you see, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. Love to have you on board. And if you're returning and you're back for another flight with me, then thanks for coming back. Love your support. Really appreciate everyone coming along and commenting. Getting a lot of comments now on the website and on videos. Really love to hear from people. It's good fun. I'm a people person. I just like to hear from people. It's great. Now, I've wondered about that. That's a tree. The tree goes a bit silly now and again. Looks like it's just been splattered by a bird or something. Or it just all of a sudden decides to produce the colour. I'm not real sure on that one. But we can taxi in, and you can see the scenery. There's tons of aeroplanes here. Now you could lighten up and get a couple of FPS back probably by removing some of those aircraft, because they're all objects that the system has to draw. But look, and it doesn't look far from that on days. There are days here at the airport where it's pretty busy. These I've got to fix too. I think there has been a little bit of an improvement or an add-on from Laminar, and they've put somewhat smaller hangars, I think, or are they bigger ones, over the ones that I originally had there. If you want to go flying and you happen to be down here in Adelaide, this is where Hardwick Air hang out. That's where I went flying with initially when I had a bit of a fly. Well, for now, guys, that's enough for me for a Tuesday evening here in Thailand. Thanks for coming along. Hope you all have a really huge day, and or a great night if that happens to be the case. And get out there and do some flying. And come along to Let's Fly VFR YouTube page, obviously YouTube where we are, and also to our Facebook page, Gunnie's Let's Fly VFR. Come down there. No, drop off some of your videos, guys. If you've done some videos of your own, if you've taken photos of your local flights, you're very welcome to come and post there. I don't mind what you put there, as long as it's nice and not naughty. Yeah. But yeah, come and put your pictures there, your aircraft, scenery that you've made, flights that you're doing. Upload videos from your YouTube channel if you have a YouTube channel like I do here at Let's Fly VFR. Love to help you out, love to have you post there. Certainly not a problem. Well, until next time, thank you guys. There's three of you out there watching me tonight. Really appreciate your support and you coming along. I will catch you again real soon back here at Let's Fly VFR. Catch you soon. Thanks guys. Bye bye.